Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Magic Arena Run. Today it's Midweek Magic's also the release of what's the full name of the set? Lord of the it's what's the full name? It's the Lord of the Rings set. They finally released it. The Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle Earth, which is not called the Lord of the Rings set, but they released the future precons now, and it's actually quite relevant. Between this and the change to standard rotation and the push for alchemy to work kind of separately in a okay, actually it works always separately. The idea is that rotations will kind of work different as far as set refreshes go. It means that we will still get precons on an every year cycle. It will be based on alchemy, so they will have the 2-year lifespan, which means we won't be finding any cards from either Innistrad set, we won't be getting cards from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and we won't be getting cards from Streets of New Capenna. But it does mean we will get cards from Lord of the Rings here. Now, I'm actually going to do a double check. This is the one set that usually has, yeah, not a single reconfigure card here. But we will get Alchemy cards here. We will get some of Lord of the Rings cards here. In fact, let's start off with Arcane Aggression. We're just gonna do a quick rundown over this. I might have to do this as a 2-video series depending on how long each game lasts. But we'll do a very quick check on all the interaction on each color pair. So Arcane Aggression, it's a spells matter deck. It wants you to cast lots of spells. So the interaction that expect shore up. So points. So you can protect your stuff. Lightning Strike, always solid. Volcanic Spite, but otherwise that's pretty much it as far as interaction goes. Everything else seems to be it seems to be extra value. A few ways to return spells back. There's the Flame of Arnor. Okay, this one also is a response. Not that relevant, though there are plenty of ways to get value out of this. So let's keep that in mind. This could easily have been a Convoke deck, but they've made it a little bit more broad. It's up to you to adjust. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Green Red. This one is mostly a creature-based deck. Quite a few dinosaurs here. Lots of lots of pumping and all that. So keynotes, colossal growth. More of a combat trick than removal, but there are 3 copies of Cosmic Hunger, 3 copies of Epic Confrontation. So we know that if we're up against the green-red deck, the removal is going to pretty much be based on having creatures. So we can keep that in mind. Oh yeah, okay, this one doesn't fight. Sork and Dragonclaw doesn't fight. Yeah, they're missing the Koglari Idaro. That's the one that fights. Also, I feel like it's a bit cheating that they put this card here. This one has been here for the longest time. I guess it kind of fits this deck. Actually, it also means that I have the least fate on this particular build. I actually like the blue-red build a bit more. The blue-black build, very much controlling. You got 2 copies of Rona's Vortex, a single Black Sun's Twilight, 2 copies of Murder, 2 copies of Tribute to Urborg, so quite a lot of removal. Vesuvan Mist, also a bit of removal as well. Let's see, I know I'm missing something. Yeah, Gix's Command, very big board wipe. So pretty much it's really control. It doesn't say control like having Rusko in the deck. This is pretty much the epitome of control. This deck could easily fit the other version of Rona and whatnot. But pretty much I would say a fair enough control deck. Usually control decks are very hard to get right for a new player experience. This one might be passable. Now here, green-white, +1/+1 counters all throughout. So the removal base, not that strong. 2 copies of Bushwhack, 2 copies of Sylvan Smite. Strength of the Coalition is more of a combat trick, but kind of works that way. There's a few, 3 copies of Citizen's Arrest. Okay, so this is probably the more real removal spell. Everything else is just based on value from the +1/+1 counters. Now this could easily be tweaked to be a bit better. So keep that in mind. Also of note that if you're playing allied colors, they give you the fast land. So we'll take a look at high value. Well, they don't always give it to you. So here they actually give you the fortified beachhead instead because this is soldier team true and true. So it's all about them soldiers. Almost everything here is a soldier. Actually, I think everything here actually is a soldier. I don't see any non-soldiers here. Yeah, everything is a soldier here. So this might be the most straightforward one. Even the spells make soldiers. Key removal spells, Elspeth Smite, Lay Down Arms, Prison Sentence, barely any blue. So yeah, all the removal spells are white, so that one's easy to figure out. By Elspeth's command, it's going to probably be the most annoying alchemy card for this one, but not the worst. Myrel might be the more annoying one. And let's double check. Yeah, they give you the pain land if it's an enemy colored They do give you 4 copies of the gain land and 4 copies of the budget duel, so to speak. As far as remove, so that Legions of Phyrexian, mostly all about that incubate. It is very Phyrexian themed. Removal is pretty slow. Benelish Sleeper. Ossification is kind of fine. You actually might want to loop your Benelish Sleepers with Phyrexian missionaries and whatnot. I think there's 3 copies of Deadly Duration, so a bit expensive. 1 copy of Pile On, a little bit less expensive depending on the board state. You will get a lot of tokens true and true. You should get ways of taking advantage of it. Gix is pretty fine. Oh yeah, there's also 3 copies of Alabaster Host Intercessor. Very expensive on the removal side, but it still counts as removal. And let's see, March kind of turns your creatures into removal by giving them the next Phyrexian creature spell a depth touch counter. So that's something of note as well. Rebel Armory, this one I have the least faith in. Now, the good thing is that almost every equipment is pretty much a 2/2 creature. It just kind of spots that thing. Removal is awfully weak here. 3 copies of Planar Disruption, that's probably the best one. 2 copies of Rebel Salvo. 3 copies of Unleashed Shell. Now, very expensive. I guess it will have to do. But otherwise, if you're able to hit with your creatures, and also some of these equipments affect equipped creatures. They don't just affect the creature itself that is holding onto it. So, like for example, the Hex Gold Hoverwings gives every creature that you kind of make into a with +1/+0. Let's see what else. Equip. Okay. Gets a nice Nahiri Forge in Fury this way. Obsidia Finishers kind of really meh here. Yeah, I'm not looking too forward to this, but it's fine. Savage Scavengers is your typical self-mill deck. It wants you to bin as many cards. It has a bit of a sacrifice theme as well. As far as removal goes, 2 copies of Go for the Throat, 3 copies of Vanquish the Weak. That's kind of fine. 2 copies of Skyfisher Spider is a bit more important here. You will get quite a bit of you will get many ways of them getting cards back. There's quite a good amount of Surveil here. Now, pretty much you're kind of going for a Shadow of the Enemy and or Sauron here, so you're kind of working towards that. But you'll get quite a bit of card advantage this way. Scrapyard Sacrifice. This one is the Mishra team deck, so you even get Ashnod to pair up with it. So it's a lot of sacrificing to generate advantage. As far as removal is concerned, 3 copies of Final Flourish. That's fine. 2 copies of Power Stone Fracture, and that's frankly it. So you really need to churn out that advantage. You're not going to get much otherwise. So keep that in mind. And finally, Sylvan Wisdom. This one is the green-blue elves deck that is all about them scries. So this will have most of the cards come from Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. So as far as removal, 2 copies of Impede Momentum. Yeah, a lot of the removal here is going to be really slow here. But it's really 2 copies of Impede Momentum, 2 copies of Bite Down. And I believe that's it as far as removal is concerned. More often than not, it's all about snowballing advantage here. So and getting really large creatures this way. Also nice, interesting to see that we have a card that conjures Marwyn. Find my first look. Oh yeah, there are 2 copies of Desynchronize. Yeah, that's fine. We'll start. I guess what we'll do is for this one we'll start with all the enemy colored ones, and then proceed as far as it goes. Then we'll see what it's like. Actually, we'll just see how it goes. But we'll definitely go through all 10 decks and see how it pans out. See how they play. Well, do they play well or do they play poorly against each other? We'll see. That said, this one's a solid start. Turn 2 Rouse Reinforcements. We can hold up for Meeting of the Minds. It's also tempting to go turn 2 Electrostatic Infantry. Which might not be too bad either. Opponent also digging them beats. Opponent goes off with the G2 amplifier. Kinda tempting to just Volcanic Spike this right now. I also want to just cast the Electrostatic Infantry, but knowing that this deck has a lot of removal, I'd say we just snipe this right away. And I actually want to keep all these cards here. There's an argument for, say, binning the other Swiftwater Cliffs, but we could use the double blue soon. When it now goes for their own Rouse Reinforcements. Yeah, so we'll play this first. Play the Electrostatic Infantry. We know the burn spells are at least 2 mana, so opponent's gonna have to play right around it. No, opponent's going for a third path Iconoclast. They might have a shore up. So, no, they're just gonna convoke, generate the token. That's fine. Gain a life, not bad. So now we're in the same situation here. We can go third path Iconoclast, Rouse Reinforcements. Definitely swing with this one. No, I'm actually going to leave this behind because there's a chance our opponent might try to snipe the Electrostatic Infantry. Again, we know the burn spells are 2 mana. Eyes of Gitax, yes. Okay, sure. Opponent plays another land. Let's see if our opponent swings. Opponent is swinging. So what we can do is we can block. Go to damage. Go Meeting of the Minds. Yeah, this is an auto play. Generate another token. Got ourselves our Haughty Djinn, one of the key rares here. And we can also just cast Tolarian Terror to be on the... And we probably will do that. I'm also going to offer the token here. Because our opponent's kind of flooded as well, but if we can reduce the effectiveness of their Convoke, so be it. Yeah, this would come down to 3-4, which is not bad. Ideally, I would draw into another mana source. I don't know, mana source. Draw into another spell. Opponent is gonna buy back. Oh, it just bounces this one. I forgot this is not the buyback one, it's a bounce. Yeah, but now we're kind of flooding, so that's a bit of an issue. I am so tempted to just swing with this one, but... Oh yeah, so this also kind of counts as removal. When it's going to start going Volcanic Spike. Rouse Reinforcements. I probably would block this with third party Iconoclast. I could also easily just take the damage, it's fine. So we've got Meeting of the Minds, that's actually quite good. I think I will actually hard cast this. Also, it's nice that it's cheaper. Okay, Flame of Arnor, choose one. If you control a wizard, you may choose two instead. Kind of. I'm actually gonna hold this one back. Because ideally I want to do the target player draws 2 cards and blow something up. Also, I know that this deck doesn't really have much in the way of counter spells, so we can kind of safely go through this. Also, yeah, knowing that they don't have things like Stoke the Flames, etc., is actually a very big deal. Okay, opponent not. Just do the destroy. Oh wait, we actually don't control a wizard. We'll pass. So let's see, at the beginning you may discard a card, seek a card with greater mana value and exile it. That's actually interesting. But first we're gonna do the kicker. Gonna bounce this one. Also note that, yeah, thank goodness this is an instant, so if our opponent goes to remove something, we can just... we can spike it instead. Again, we're kind of playing it a little bit safe here. Opponent goes for Flame of Arnor. Yeah, not protecting that one. So, probably target player draws 2 cards. So we draw to snipe this one. Opponent might have a shore up, but I would rather they use the shore up now. Yeah, they may generate a lot of tokens, but that uses up all their card equity. And yeah, we play the mountain and pass. So beginning of your pre-combat main phase. So this only start on the next turn, so that's something to keep in mind. That said, I do want to play the Milkweb Curator here. Way to buy back spells like say Flame of Anor. That's a very good choice to buy back on top. We'll also start putting stuff here. I am willing to swing with the Tolarian Terror here because now I'm in the position. Now I want to start clearing our opponent's board. And the opponent concedes. We managed to wipe most of their board and still have a board presence there. So that's a pretty... So the blue-red is probably the most normal deck. It does kind of need A and B. You kind of want to have the creep payoffs. You kind of want to have the spells. But pretty solid, true and true. We'll take that first win. So yeah, let's claim that too. And let's check out what the... Now let's try out another... multi. Okay, we'll go white-black here. Let's try the Legions of Phyrexia. So again, take note, Legions of Phyrexia a bit slow on the removal side. What do we have as options? Yeah, we have a few cheap options, but realistically, all our options are gonna be like 4 mana something. So we'll keep that in mind. We're also gonna be kind of the slow grindy deck, so might not turn out to be the best option here. We're gonna get to try things out. Now, white-black Phyrexians kind of got a bad rap during in limited. It was kind of slow, never really clicked. Would setting it in standard make it better? This one is kind of awkward. We got all our removal. And it looks like blue-red is the flavor of the... Looks like blue-red's gonna be the flavor of the month, so... Static Infantry... Yeah, they also have a bunch of the really expensive commons that are not ideal. Thank goodness this is a bit... Now, the 2-mana removal spells will all deal with this. But not the worst in this situation. And we did draw our 4th land, so we will need another black for Deadly Derision, but otherwise we should be able to pile it on. I'm concerned our opponent might have a shore up, so I'm actually gonna pass. See how... Storm Runner, okay, that's fine. Yeah, opponent sees it coming. We do get the Surveil too. We will pitch the plains, but we do need that swamp. So I could just go for the Deadly Derision and just clear it out. I could also just play an Infected Defector, which... This is a bit awkward. Oh yeah, our mana use is admittedly kind of awkward here. And pretty much passing this one, I'm going to see if our opponent decides, oh, they're just going for Gandalf. Which gives us an excuse not to, which gives us a reason not to run this out right away. Or maybe we do. We actually can, because we actually want to Deadly Derision this one. And we hit our Scarred Baron, so not too punished. Sorry, Gandalf. Phyrexian Awakening, kinda one of the okay, but not the one of the really best ones. Opponent now transforming their artifact into a Rouse Reinforcement, so having to run all these out without any real payoffs is a bit awkward. So I will play this one. If our opponent decides to actually does have a shore up and protects it, sure, that's fine. No, Meeting of Minds, they're just paying it off. Now, so the thing is, our opponent needs to combo with removal, knowing that they don't have any 4 damage removal. In this particular deck is really helpful for us. Yeah, this deck could easily use a Stoke the Flames. Maybe it would have made this deck too powerful, but it definitely needs it. What we need, more cards. We kind of went through most of our removal. Only conceding at this point means, they know that if they wanted to have a big threat, they needed to set it up earlier. Losing the dwarf was not really great. But then again, we did keep a hand of 3 removal spells. So white-black not bad in the right situation. I can see the deck fail in certain situations too, so it's not the most ideal one. Anyway, that leaves us. Let's go to white-red, the one deck. For the record, I don't have that much faith in this deck. So if the games go this fast, I might be able to go through all 10 in one episode. Well, it would be a long one, but so far we haven't sat through big chunks of time. Okay, definitely keeping this one. Turn 2 Battle Fist, turn 3 Blade Hold Whip. Oddly enough, this hand wants running lands. We can kind of wait for this one, but okay, we got our running lands wish. Now let's hope we don't get too many running lands. Also note for the black-red, their removal usually requires to sacrifice something. So let's take a look. Let's swing with this, opponent takes it. Opponent probably should have a way to remove this by now. Etched Familiar, probably not the best way. Kinda annoying, but not the worst. Now we could play Volshock Splitter. I suppose we can. We'll swing with everything first. Double strike means well, opponent does get to double dip a bit. And we could maneuver this elsewhere, but we're gonna hold off that for now. Opponent plays the Gitaxian Infiltrator. Our opponent might be stuck on mana, so that is something. So probably don't play a land yet. Let's swing first. Let's see what the board situation's like. Okay, so now, yeah, play Danita. I could just attach this onto that, but we're going to decline. We actually get more benefit from having a. Yeah, first strike vigilance lifelink is going to be a big deal. Ooh, we got our Canvas Outfitter. So which is the most expensive one? Probably this one. Now, I guess we hold this one back. Yeah, get a bit of life gain. With an oil counter, not too relevant. So we can now actually put this on, say, I don't want to put all our eggs here, but yeah. Actually, I just put it here. The equip cost is really cheap anyway. If our opponent wants to use one of the removal spells, they would have to actually sacrifice something, and yeah, they got stuck on mana way too long. I'm pretty sure they were sitting on a bunch of creatures. Also, the synergies are not that very easy to set up for black-red. It did help that we curved out with the white-red deck. Without that curve applying so much pressure, we would not be able to punish our opponent that way. Okay, next up is the green-black deck. So just a reminder, our removal suite not that great. Pretty much go for the throat, vanquish the weak, and the Skyfisher Spider. We really have to self-mill quite a lot, but we do have to try to take advantage of it because we do have ways of getting creatures back. Also note that we don't have a way to generate a ring bearer, so that 3/3 black rate is always gonna go. That's something to keep in mind. I did say that this deck I particularly don't have that much high hopes for. Juggling resources, putting cards in the yard, getting them back, sacrificing stuff to get them back. It's not the easiest skill. You have to do a lot of thinking ahead, and sometimes it just gets trounced by a perfectly on curve setup. This one is, I'm willing to take a risk on this one. We do have quite a few dice triggers here, but we could easily end up not doing anything past turn 4. opponent playing the green-red setup, so we have to be quite aggressive with these early ones. Another rare Thespian. I think I'll actually keep this one on top. Because opponent will need to land a creature first. Elysian Caryatid. Opponent probably does not want to trade that one. We'll see. It does want the mana ramp a bit, so it's actually gonna trade it. So we do get our Surveil 1. Take the mole. Yeah, we'll mill the mole. This one's gonna be awkward if our opponent does manage to kill it, but we know that our opponent does not have direct burn. They need to have a creature on the battlefield first. The caveat is, when they do, opponent could attack us and try to draw into a dragon. I probably will just take if our opponent swings. Now it's our turn to swing. Let's see if our opponent decides to block. They will. So let's mill away our swamps. Those are our manas. That's our mana gone. The mana being evenly divided also between green and black kind of hurts the deck a bit as well. Though if we're able to land the Deathloom Ritualist, we do have quite a few creatures in the yard already for it. Interestingly enough, if I in this situation, if I had milled the Thespian instead of keeping it on top. Question: does our opponent decide to? Well, we landed our black source, so we. You may pay X where X is his power, so our opponent can return it as a 4 right away. So I'm actually going to just play the Wary Thespian and pass. Die source put into your, or library conjure. Yeah, let's conjure that one. Not gonna swing this time. Though our opponent could easily just have a fight spell. The point is that we want to use Vanquish the Weak to clear the board a bit. Opponent goes for a Ravenous Sailback. In this case, I probably will just, if they go for the haste, I probably would just block it with a Razor Moth. That said, I kind of wish now that we had an Exile effect, because this will keep, our opponent now has enough mana to get it to keep coming back. We did hit 5 mana now, so let's see. Vanquish. Oh, in that case, we take this out instead. Might as well unearth. I would say that this does have the advantage of hitting really hard. Against a deck with plenty of removal, it would probably be an issue, but the green-red deck having a bit of spotty removal. If that creature entered the battlefield this turn, draw a card, so it's based on haste. So our opponent's going to draw 2 cards off this. But they will have to swing with everything. And they do run the risk of... Yeah, you won't draw a card that way. So we now actually have options. Like, I could go for Deathloom Ritualist right away, so we can set up our mana for the future. Also, it's going to be a bit hard for our opponent to deal damage through this. On the other hand, we can't swing past this one. First strike's an issue. I guess we just do this one right now. Hold on, I'll tell my friend that no, I'm not actually streaming, I'm just recording. Opponent does land their Surak, so now Trample is on the field. That said, we can eat their Sama. This one probably just gets chump blocked. We do need to have a way to punch through, otherwise we're just gonna die in the air. Destroy target enchantment doesn't help. Remove up to 3 counters. I don't see that. Draw a card, lose a life. Not. Yeah. So we can play Rapidus Gigamo. Though not a very exciting option. We can play Glissa into Recycler. Though that's also really bad. Also, there's a risk that we might actually hit one of our removal spells. Then again, we also might want to go for this. We might also hit our Skyfisher Spider. No, we do get Sauron instead, so we'll keep that in mind. It's a bit of a race though. Opponent still has one last card active. Now, opponent not gonna draw any cards off these because yeah, it really wants you to take advantage of that haste. There are actually a few cards from the LOTR set that, well, there's one that takes advantage of it. That's gonna be a bit big. We will have to get them on the crackback. Easier said than done. Are there any creatures that we can get back from here? Not really. When it attacks, yeah, all of these are attack triggers, which is a big issue. Yeah, we might have, yeah, like I get this one, but we have no outs for this. Yeah, we'll just swing with everything, but I don't think we're getting past it. I don't think we have enough damage. Yeah, 3, 6, 8, not enough. We needed to have something to have a start of combat trigger, but all of these are... Yep, there's our Skyfisher Spider that we needed. And we got down to 1. So that was very close, but not... But again, that was not very ideal. We also have a removal problem, not just our opponent here. But that said, the deck does have potential. It just needs to kind of line up a bit. We didn't get the proper lineup there. We might, if we have time, we'll probably revisit this. But let's go elves this time. Let's see how much scrying we can get. Yeah, we have plenty of time. I think we can just make this a 1-hour thing if we go through all 10 decks. Yeah, just continue to do an audio check. Yeah, we're fine. Is our hand fine? Honestly, it's sketchy. We don't have a play until turn 3. Proliferate is also kind of weird. No, there is a +1/+1 counter set up here as well. We can proliferate that way. If our opponent mulligans, I'll mulligan too. Let's just leave it at that. Because it's admittedly very slow, and if we're up against something like the white-red deck, if with a proper curve, we're in trouble. If we're up against white-blue, we're in definite trouble. Blue-red, also a problem. So a lot of things to think about here. Yeah, because we're definitely playing Azuri as a turn 4. If we don't have another proper play on that turn. Also note that we have the scry cards, but we don't have the actual payoffs. Opponent's keeping. Yeah, we'll keep 2. Super sketch, admittedly, but we'll see how it goes. I'm also surprised that, well, I guess the reason they did not give us their, okay, this one's also very aggro-centric, so we are in trouble here. We at least got a turn to play in Mirror of Galadriel, though that really is a do-nothing until so much later. But still, it's better to have something to do rather than nothing. Though this is probably the worst matchup to keep this hand, to be honest. Okay, this is now interesting. We will be able to draw cards if we manage to get this one down. So realistically, I probably want to play this first anyway. Army of Whispered Hopes. Okay, opponent is taking their time here. We'll take the hit. Can't. I want to play that, but I can't at ETB's tap. I need to be able to play something end of turn. We'll also see if our opponent respects this. As far as removal is concerned, there are a few combat tricks here, so we might end up trading. Opponent goes for another Kami of Whispered Hopes. Into a Recluse. Okay, so yeah, no respect. Scry, Elven Farsight. Yeah, I definitely want to keep that one. Now that said, it's also not ideal for us because our opponent can just spend the mana to put it on a creature. So also we have a 4-drop we kind of want to cast. I'm gonna actually cast the Farsight first, see if we can hit Glorfindel and Peak Momentum. I don't want this one. Yeah, reveal, draw Glorfindel. And we are gonna play Glorfindel here. That should set up our future scries. The nice thing is that if our opponent goes for this one, it still kind of trades. Though our opponent can just end up with a huge, massive mana setup. No, it doubles counters, I forgot. Now, can't be blocked by more than one creature. Yeah, this is the weaker one. And then our opponent just... Yep, I guess we're gonna have no choice but to... stun this guy. Definitely want Nissa. I could trade for this one. Yeah, because this is actually the weakest of the bunch. I'll trade for their spider. The ability doesn't matter for the most part here. So we have a few turns before we have to desynchronize the Shalai. Ooh, wow. This was a killer sequence here. Now, we can play this one, but we don't have another land to do this. Might have to. I just might have to reset this one. Do we want? Yeah, but none of these are great here. The land itself is not great. Yeah, and we're already way behind. As soon as this one gets unlocked, we're in real trouble. When it actually chooses to redraw it. But yeah, any future +1/+1 counter cards is a big deal, and well, yeah, they had the sequence going. We were not beating it. And also the lack of removal for green blue is actually a very big issue here. Yeah, this deck I want to give another shot. But again, I already knew that if our opponent had a crazy start, that we would be in really big trouble. Green blue really could use more interactive spells. It probably would do well with the fight. It probably would do okay with the fight spells that the green red deck has. So, probably not a wise choice to play Sylvan Wisdom. Let's play the deck that beat us instead. So let's go to Growing Hope. Actually, trying to remember the removal here. I think it's just it's mostly Citizen's Arrest and a few fight cards. But otherwise, it's all about you going out of control. The Sylvan Wisdom deck probably could have gone out of control if we had better starts at turn 1, turn 2. Unfortunately, it also has a lot of cards that are so late game that they don't really do anything. So, but we'll keep that in mind. If any, it does give a direction on how to improve the deck. It's also a shame. That was the one deck that had most of the Lord of the Rings cards. Anyway, Okay, I'm actually gonna keep this one. We'll probably lead on Radiant Grove first. Vanillish Knight Commander with an Enlist boon is actually quite interesting. Actually, I just realized that this is probably the worst hand to keep. Because if we don't hit running... Because Shalai's Acolyte needs to be kicked in order to get the +1/+1 counter, so... Anyway, we can probably use this to search for a land. Opponent also in the... Opponent also going into +1/+1 counters. No, I'm actually gonna hold on to this because depending on what early drops our opponent plays, it might actually be really relevant to fight it. Okay, it's not. Okay, it's an also. There's nothing to really fight. The search for a basic land and put in hand could be relevant if like we're trying to hit Titania's command, but Army of Whispered Hopes, that one's a definite fight card. And since we've been drawing lands, we're probably not going to need it anytime soon. And it's not going to block it. Yeah, we have to stifle that early one. Next turn we can go Shalai's Acolyte into Titania's command, which probably we choose mode 3 and mode 4. And this is where it does kind of get slow. Though our opponent does get the benefit of Ozolith starting things up. I would like to play this one, but now this does run into a problem that if our opponent has the fight spell, that would really be bad. Then again, if they do play a fight spell, that means they're not playing another kind of spell, another creature spell. Opponent goes Serra Redeemer, so that will take the hit on that one. Serra Redeemer is going to be really annoying. There are so many creatures that ETB on the cheap. If we draw another land, I would love to play Kami of Wizard Hopes into Storm the Seed Core. Yeah, our only advantage is that we're able to swing up in the air. I will trade though. Yeah, I know there's no Angel's Intercession here, but okay, they just hit for more damage. That's fine. We also have access to that. Probably might not want to use that. Hold on, this is 4 to kick. Ugh. I probably won't go for this one in force block, so and I do have to put. Oh wait, hold on. Creatures you control gain vigilance and trample, so I don't actually need to. If we somehow have a way to Storm Deceit for. Now let's see if their last card is also a strength of the coalition. Nope, it's not. So unfortunately, the vigilance is really annoying here. Yeah, not getting past that. Yeah, just a bit shy, but also not having something like one of these early kind of ruins it for us here. So yeah, that's game. We would be forced to chump block all our way here. Could we have had a better option for this one? Not really. Our opponent even just used their combat trick to pretty much pump, and if nothing else. So that one's a little bit disappointing for green-white. It is kind of A and B. You need to have the right hand. I admittedly kept the wrong possible hand on hindsight. This one also a good candidate for retrying. Let's go to white-blue instead. This one should be easier to build up. Also note that we missed out on some of the removal. We missed out on the citizens' arrests. The citizens' arrest probably would not have helped that much. And okay, so we do have some early removal for Elspeth's Might. Opponent running red-white, so we do get to do flash flying here. And as much as I want to do the +1/+1 counter, we need to get some aggro going. Oh, they can also do Valiant Veteran here, so yeah, we're gonna be relying on these Elspeth's Mites quite a bit. Opponent goes for a Bladeful Cleaver. So probably not like. You get a boon when you cast your next creature spell. That creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. I could also just wreck their curve by putting that in prison. Definitely want the land before the Elspeth's command. Now this is a case where our opponent did not have the proper curve. They only had to play until turn 3. Opponent forced to use their Unleashed Shell here, so not very ideal. All the while, our resolute reinforcement's going to be a bit. When it goes for a full shock splitter. Let's see what their follow-up is. Into a Hexbolt Halberd, as long as it's your turn, so it won't be when I do attack. So we do hit our by Elspeth's command. At the beginning of your combat, choose one that wasn't chosen. Up to one target soldier gets +1/+1 and gains flying, so that's actually a big deal here. Might be a bigger deal to just cast this one. Force our opponent to start trading. Chooses it gains +1/+1 and gains vigilance. When it goes for a planar disruption, yeah, one of the few removal cases, but opponent concedes there. So yeah, we kind of beat them on that one. Yeah, the Soldier's deck is probably, I would say the Soldier's deck is probably a bit more consistent compared to the green-white deck, though it could still be player error. It could just be my fault. So next up, it's blue-black. This is going to be the control deck. This is going to be actually very good at control. Let's see. Again, removal check, quite a bit of bounce. Between Rona's Vortex, Vesuvan Mist, there's some actual spot removal, Tribute to Urborg, Black Sun's Twilight, and a few murder copies. We do have one board wipe in Gix's command, though not the strongest board wipe. It's still a board wipe. Oh yeah, I probably should start charging this. Okay, so turn one, Backwater. Yeah, definitely not ideal to draw this many lands. Also, was this returned? If that spell was kick, conjure a duplicate. Definitely want to conjure a duplicate if we can, so we'll just go Archaeologist. Definitely want the murder in hand. We're gonna need a lot of these. Our opponent's deck is gonna be so reliant on fight spells, so being able to murder is gonna be a deal. I want to cast this, but I definitely need to hold up. And the thing is, because this is a perpetual effect, we actually have to be quite careful. Also, what's this? You can spend mana of any color to cast, but not to activate abilities. If our opponent casts, I'm really actually hoping our opponent casts something really big. That would make Vesuvan Mist a very good tempo play here. Having a Sailback. I could just cast that one, but I think I'm gonna just murder it instead. But that's both our murders already, so let's keep that in mind. Definitely want the Trawler Drake. Now we have options depending on what our opponent casts next. Opponent going for a Furnace Strider. Now, I can't. Now, kicking that doesn't really do anything, so we're actually gonna just bounce. Yeah, just be a good boy for now. So if I were to kick this, that would be -5/-5, which would kill this. Now I know that they don't have a 1-mana pump effect. And that stalls them out a bit. Each player mills 2 cards and you may put an instant or sorcery on top. I'm actually gonna just cast the kick. Hits us an Academy Wall and a Breach the Multiverse. So we're actually waiting to see if our opponent drops something really big here. Again, we're gonna be a good boy here. Gonna pass on a bit. Opponent lands a Suruk and Goreclaw. Thankfully, no haste. This would be one that I would actually like to kill. So knowing that, hold on, Academy Wall. Whenever you cast draw, discard. No, I actually want to draw the Murder. So we're doing the patient long game here. Now I probably should have swung with this one because our opponent could easily now have a fight spell that will punch through this one. It's all about being patient here. Opponent probably held on to that removal spell for the longest time. One and gains haste. So take a bit of a hit here. Opponent might actually start sacking lands now. They don't need this many. Yeah, draw a card. Discard a card. Yeah, I'm gonna swing with the Scab. So pretty much we're gonna trade the Drake for the Branch Burner here. Opponent goes for... okay. We held it too long. Opponent did have a proper fight spell. That was so... Actually, no, I think they drew that in the last minute, so that really wrecked us there. We kind of tried to go for something big. We probably were better off just holding onto the Murder just in case. We could have done it end of turn. The green-red deck doesn't have any of the obnoxious protection effects, so we kind of goofed off on that one. So let's see. Win, win, win. Lose, 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 win, lose. Okay, that leaves us 2 more decks. That leaves us 2 more decks to go here. I would say the problem with the blue-black deck is we outplayed ourselves. We were able to churn up a bit of advantage, but you could see it coming from a mile away. Also, green-red unexpectedly have pink flyers. Anyway, this is definitely a keep here. Turn 2 Infiltrator, turn 3 Stormclaw Rager, turn 4 probably play an Infiltrator and hold up Corrupted Conviction to get some Now take note that this one is a sacrifice outlet. It doesn't trigger from just sacrificing. So in this case, I probably will play. Opponent goes for Goose. I am going to offer the trade here. The Recluse is just going to get more annoying as time goes by. So better trade it off now while it's early. I probably would just end up playing Stormclaw Rager. Well, it does let you sacrifice artifacts, so there's an out there. Opponent seems to be stuck in mana though. That might not go very well for our opponent. Hold on, when is the beginning of next end step? So I'm gonna attack with all. I want to see how our opponent decides to block. Yeah, they just go for the cheap block. We go for the cheap card draw. Get 6 damage in this way. Get some of the lands we need. Yeah, might as well. And now we're going to be the one getting our chain going. Now Stormclaw Rager would probably be nice. I also would like to play Sendure Connoisseur. Did our opponent... Wait, 1, 2, 3... Did our opponent miss 2 land drops? Oh no. Okay. The fact that they have to use this to not take one of these out, but to actually search for a basic land, yeah, that's Trouble City right there. Now take note, this is activate only as a sorcery, so if we don't hit a 1 mana sacrifice effect, I think I probably would still play it. Only going for the Sylvan Smite. I probably would have recommended wait. And we get ourselves a Final Flourish. So if our opponent decides to do anything funny, we could Final Flourish, sacrifice the creature itself. But I'm already kind of seeing the strat. We can play Send. I could get really greedy by sacrificing the Forge, but the Forge is our source of continuous value. Opponent could just take. No, they conceded there. This one we won because yeah, our opponent was not able to do anything properly on their turns. They missing the land drops was really painful. I actually noticed that I actually want to take a look at that deck again. I feel like that I'm missing something. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna do a quick look at this one. Yeah, they have Botanical Brawlers also. I just noticed that they always seem to drop Ozolith. And Kami of Whispered Hopes. Yeah, having only like 5 copies of these total. Okay, maybe 6 with Beast Caller, 7 with Sarah Redeemer, but that's an expensive one. So if you're gonna actually run the deck for yourself, you now know what you need more of. You really want more of those early payoffs. So that said, let us now go to Charging Ahead. So this will be the last of the pre-con decks. Yeah, I think we're at the 1 hour mark. I probably won't revisit some of these other decks. So it's really just a matter of which ones pan out, which ones don't. This one, definite keep. We are gonna run high. Gonna go for Carryat to turn 2. This does have early removal. Depending what our opponent does, I might land the Battle Driver first. Okay, opponent's holding back as if they have a removal spell. In that case, I'll give them something to remove. And let's see. Yeah, there are a few copies of Murder here. I'm actually... No, oh no, they're just plain cycling. Okay. Going for the big massive setup. Now, +2/+0 and haste is actually a big deal here depending on how we kick things. I would like to kick this one. No, okay, we'll play this one first. If our opponent does anything in response, we can actually just... Actually, no, we'll just cast it now. Actually, we got a bit of a chain going here. We know that the Gix's command is in the other deck. I'm pretty sure our opponent has a removal spell. Yep, they just had the removal spell for that anyway. Okay, that's fine. Damage, kind of been done. We do have an interesting sequence where ossification to take out the Battle Driver. That slows things down. Into a Benelish Sleeper, not... I'll offer it. We do have to remember that we actually do need mana to draw cards here. So, incubate, that's fine. Not enough mana to cast this. Probably next turn. Only going for a Deadly Duration. Okay, that's fine. When it's actually holding back on that one. they might have another removal spell, but they already used their pile on. It's just a transform, okay. So most likely end of turn, we're just going to chump block with a Caryatid, use it to pay for our land sack. We need to draw into a few more cards. No, opponent concedes. We managed to get there. The Phyrexian deck does get a bit on the slow side if you're not able to build the board early enough. We just happen to have a insanely weird start, even if it's just all those Illusion Caryatids. Opponent could have easily stopped it at any time. We literally only had that one big creature. Opponent just waited and waited and waited. But there we go. We got that one. That's all 10 of the new future precons. All of them are going to be geared admittedly for Alchemy, so but then again it does mean that you do get access to Lord of the Rings cards, so for the most part, so not even off the precons, not too bad for that. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this episode of Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, turn on notifications and whatnot. Again, wish you guys the best of luck. Will I revisit these in the future? That might depend how much is an event these days. Usually the one thing that's the thing that stopped me last time is the cost of events. So let's take a look. There is a starter deck duel mode. So you can start this out. It will be added to your it's a way to get some mystery cosmetics. It's actually kind of the same as a midweek Magic. I probably could have done a few of my games here. I'll probably save that for tomorrow. Anyway, actually, what was I saying again? Yeah. How much is an Alchemy event? It's 2-5. So 2-5, you kind of want to get 375 gems. So you need 5 wins to make your entry fee back. It's a bit on the expensive side for me to do a series on 10 decks with this. So, and honestly, I don't think these match up very well. We'll probably try it and play, but I don't know. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you guys again next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.